In upcoming volumes of Tabari's history and in Ishaq's Sirah, we shall be regaled with hadith showing Muhammad murdering young boys. In one shameful episode, he decapitated an entire tribe, slaughtering every boy over the age of 12. The Muslim historians are making these Nimrod myths up in order to make Muhammad's murderous behavior appear normal. To give this tale a religious slant, the traditions wove Noah into the plot. This plagiarized, albeit twisted, account proclaims,
Tabari. Shem, the son of Noah, was the father of the Arabs, the Persians, and the Greeks. Ham was the father of the black Africans, and Japheth was the father of the Turks, and of Gog and Magog, who were cousins of the Turks.
Then after being told that,
Noah slept with his genitals exposed,
we learn,
Noah prayed that the prophets and apostles would be descended from Shem, and kings would be from Japheth. He prayed that the Africans' color would change, so that their descendants would be slaves to the Arabs and Turks.
I wonder if Louis Farrakhan knows this. Probably not. He was too busy corrupting the Washington, D.C. sniper, Muhammad. We have finally arrived at the real point of the Nimrod stories.
Tabari. Nimrod was the son of Cush bin Canaan bin Ham bin Noah. He was the lord of Babylon and of Abraham.
Muslims were on solid ground as long as they stuck to the biblical account, but the moment they left it, they buried themselves. Nimrod died 700 years before Abraham was born, and Muhammad told us that Canaan died in the flood. The actual history of the city-states of Babylon, Nineveh, and Ur is fascinating. This is where the stylus first met the tablet. It is out of the land of the Babylonians, Assyrians, and Chaldeans that recorded history began. It is here that the first laws were written, the first business was conducted, the first armies marched, the first students were taught, and the first sermons were preached. Their sermons and swords ultimately shaped the world, even into our present day. Islam was derived, in part, from an offshoot of the religious scam concocted by Nimrod in Babylon. The original religion of Abraham in nearby Ur was based upon a derivative masculine moon deity named Sin. The moon god shrines, like the Kaaba, were erected to him all over Arabia, with sites that mirrored those invented in Babylon. The people of the Fertile Crescent turned the sun, the moon, and stars into gods, and exported them its sword point. The constellations and planets were studied, and astrologists began the occult religions equating their movements to human behavior. This was the first time the masses were subjected to the will of cleric and king by the way of divine right. It would not be the last. Many of Catholicism's rituals, festivals, and doctrines were derived from Nimrod. The devotion to the Virgin with child, priests as intermediaries between God and man, the celebration of Christmas, Lent, and Easter, are but a few examples of religious trappings from Babylon, and not the Bible. I share this with you not to expose Catholicism's foundations, nor to turn this into a mere history lesson, but so that you might understand the nature of these Islamic religious traditions better. Up to this point, all we've had to work with is reason and internal contradiction to decide if Muhammad was telling the truth when he recast the Genesis account of creation, Adam, Satan, and Noah. Yes, they were incriminating, full of contradictions and inaccuracies, and yes, Muhammad's agenda of making Mecca and the Kaaba important, and his own rather unprophet-like behavior seem religious, was always transparent. But now we have a new tool. History. Just as the Septuagint and the Dead Sea Scrolls disproved Allah's assertion that the Jews corrupted their scriptures, the clay tablets of Ur, Babylon, and Nineveh prove that Muhammad lied when he tried to reshape Abraham into a compatriot of Nimrod. And this lie is not without consequence. If Abraham was not as Allah claims, the Qur'an disintegrates. Abraham is the lone, thin string that connects Islam to the Bible. And without the Bible, all that is rational and religious in the Qur'an evaporates. and Islam with it. Abraham's story is repeated 30 times in the Qur'an in 15 different surahs. We hear Adam's tale of woe 4 times. Noah was a crowd pleaser. The mocked messenger makes 30 appearances in 30 different surahs. You just can't get enough death and destruction. That's why Lot, Abraham's nephew, and a relatively minor biblical character, debuts no fewer than 15 times. He too was recast as Allah's messenger. The people didn't obey, so wham! Fire and brimstone. Moses, the great liberator, prophet and miracle worker, was the most frequently named character in Allah's book, with a stunning 500 appearances. The longest surah, the second, was dedicated to the golden calf the Israelites foolishly crafted in the wilderness. The 10th surah is called Jonah. The 12th is named after and preoccupied with Joseph. The 14th is dedicated to Abraham. The 17th is named after the Jews, the children of Israel. The 19th derives its name from Mary, mother of Esau, the Islamic Jesus. The 21st is dedicated to the Hebrew prophets. Only one is named for Muhammad, and just one bears the name of his first god, Ar-Rahman. Noah has a surah named in his honor, but so do the jinn, signs of the zodiac, the sun, and the moon. Without the Bible, the Qur'an would be a very thin book. Detached from its influence, Islam loses most of its religious trappings. This is the reason Muslims are so insistent that the God of the Bible and the God of the Qur'an are the same. For if they are not, Islam's reliance on the Bible becomes an insurmountable liability rather than the religion's lone asset.